Partridge, and this is Kahleesi, and today we're gonna check in a little bit with how our Liberty's going. And you'll notice that I've got the rope halter around her neck, and that's because I want to do a few things online just to make sure that she's connected with me and that I'm not going to be teaching her to leave me. But because I've already had a relationship with her and I've done a lot of work with her, I don't necessarily need the halter on her face. So this is kind of like an in-between where she's not completely on the rope halter and yet she's not completely offline. I've got a bit of a safety net, and that will let me sort of judge where she's at, and if she's ready to come offline, then I'll take it off as I'm playing.
So here we're taking a little look at Kahleesi online, just a little bit of practice and warm up before I'm going to take her offline. What I like to do is practice a little bit of what I'm going to be trying to do when I go offline and just see if I can do those things without having tension in the rope. So here you can see I'm asking her to back up and then come towards me, and just really checking to see that I can keep the slack in the rope and that I'm not needing to put tension there. And here's another little look at some more exercises, is doing a little bit of circle game. And you can see the footing isn't the super greatest and she's sort of being careful as she goes around. But the important part that I'm looking for there is that she was maintaining slack in the line. So that was looking really good and she was staying close enough to me. So I decided to take the rope off. And I did do more than that, but because I didn't want to give you guys a 20-minute video, I cut out a fair bit of that stuff for you. And so here I'm starting with a little bit of stick to me, just asking my horse to follow me, a little bit of right and left side to just make sure that she's able to follow me. And then getting right into some other tasks. So here's a little bit of sideways and just asking if she can come sideways towards me, which is a little bit more challenging than sideways away because they're tempted to turn and look at you. And she did that pretty nicely. So I'm just going to draw her back and then going to take a look at her circle game, which is one of the big things that I've been practicing trying to get better. I'd like to be able to advance to get her doing these at canter. So I've been trying to really keep her shape nicely around me. So that's what I've been focusing on, is keeping her wrapped around me. And so that's looking really nice shape in her body. And again, the footing isn't super fantastic, so I'm sort of tolerating that she's not, doing a beautiful trot because it isn't perfect footing out there. So you can see she's being a little bit careful. So really I'm just aiming for here is just a nice shape to her body, that she's got relaxation and staying drawn on me. So that's looking pretty good, and she's not feeling tempted to leave or anything, so that's great. So I'm going to move on to a little bit of sideways over a pole. So I'm going to get her lined up and asking her to come over with me and get her spun around. And she figured this out pretty quickly. She saw the pole there and thought, oh yeah, you want me to sideways over that. So that was really nice that she just sort of started to get in tune with my thoughts and started to go sideways for me there. And sort of gave her a little cookie there because that was sort of, she was really trying extra hard to do the right thing. So I gave her a little bit of reward and then asked her to go sideways back the other way. So she thought about backing up a little bit there, but I was able to get her back over the pole and finish with some sideways. And so whenever I'm playing at Liberty and there's no rope attached, I try to just set it up the best that I can, and if the horse starts to make a mistake, then just see if I can correct it, pretend that I have a line even though I don't. So then I was working on our backup and our come forward with no rope. So here you're going to see, I'm going to get a nice backup going, and she's been doing really, really well with this. Nice straight line. She's got two eyes looking on me. She's really focused on the task and getting a nice good distance. So I've been working on this over the last couple weeks, trying to build this up further and further. And you can see we're getting a really nice distance from each other. And here I'm pushing her just even a little bit more, so she's actually going over the edge of the sand ring. Although right now it's all snow, but she's going over the edge and starting to go down the hill a little bit even, which is sort of where we've got the obstacles down there. and asking her to even go a little bit more. You can see we're building up a really good distance, and she looks confident there. She's backing down the hill. And then giving her the cue to come in. And you can see she's responding nicely to that and trotting in. Her ears are perked forward. Nice, good expression on her. So that's coming along really nicely. So I'm really happy about that. Then here's another little look at circle game. So footing's not super great, so I'm letting her sort of go out a little bit further on the circle and seeing if we can just get a couple strides going. It's good enough that she can get a little bit of a canter happening. So I get her doing a little bit of strides and then thank her for trying, sort of asking for little bits here and there. And she's on a nice circle space there. She's got lots of space that she can move freely, and then ask her to come back in there. So that's looking good, and she's actually doing some canter circle and not leaving, so I'm pretty happy about that because that's probably our first sort of time getting that out in an open space. So then she was sort of defaulting to back up and is having trouble getting my sideways again, so I put her back on line, and you can see she was trying to back up there and brace on the rope and thinking that I just wanted back up. So I put her back on line just so I could do a little bit more sideways and tidy up that a little bit, because she sort of got it in her head that we were doing backwards and was sort of forgetting the other things that we could do. So I go one way, go the other way, and then she looks like she's being nice and soft and understanding what it is I want her to do. So that's looking a lot better. So then I take off the rope again because that was looking pretty good. Just give her sort of a little bit of comfort first and then take her off and try it again. So when we're working with the horses, we want to be careful that we never teach them to do the wrong thing. So if we're repeating the same thing over and over and they're getting it wrong, it'd be better to just go back online, get the clarification, make sure we're on the same page, and then try it again. So here I'm backing her up just a step or two to try to get her in line with the pole, and then she's defaulting into back up again. So this time I just sort of walk up to her and I'm cheating. I'm grabbing her blanket to stop her from going backwards, and I'm sort of saying, hey, remember, we can go sideways here. So once she sort of realized what we were doing, she's like, oh yeah, sideways, I can do that. So she goes over there. And then I'm going to ask her to go back the other way. And she sort of starts to default into that backwards again. She can be such a little goofball. She says, this is what you wanted before, so isn't this okay now? And I just, you have to smile and laugh and say, oh, you're a goofball or you're silly. And just retry and make sure you've got a smile on your face and you're not getting upset or anything. So I just sort of line her up, try to show her what I wanted, and then ask her to go sideways back the other way, without getting upset or emotional or anything like that. You can say I gave her a little cookie there for figuring out the right thing and showing her that there's other things that I want her to do other than just going backwards. Well, and here I did a little bit of little jumps with her, just a little bit of asking her to stick with me and go over a few things. And there she went over the X part of the cavaletti, which was kind of cute. Again, just really little stuff, just sort of testing our liberty connection, nothing high, just because the footing is sort of, it's sort of snowy and shallow snow, so it's a little bit uneven. So just sort of asking her to go out and come back. And then here we're doing a little bit of sideways, but she's doing much better. So ask her to come in. So you can see she's moving around okay on the snow, but it's not perfect for, doing big jumps or anything like that. And then here we're going to take a look a little bit at our spins and where those are coming to. So they're not super fast or anything like that yet. But the main thing here is she's understanding that she's supposed to do a complete revolution and then come back and see me. So I'm pretty happy that that's going well. And before, when we did our goals for 2016, she was only spinning one direction, and this is the direction that was really difficult. So it's still more challenging, you could see that, but she's doing the spin in this direction. So that's doing a whole lot better than what it was before. And then last but not least, just practicing our lie down cue, which is she's doing pretty nicely. and give her some cookies for that and some scratches. So just trying to make that an easy thing for her to do and build her confidence with that. And she's going to be doing that in the movie that she's going to be going in, the movie Unbridled, very soon. We're going to be going down to North Carolina to do that. So I just want to make sure that that's a reliable and a good, easy thing for her to do. So just giving her lots of reward for being down there. And you can see that she's pretty happy getting some cookies. And so that's looking pretty nice.